Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Me and baby Olive are talking about a very important premise today, and that is that conures are not starter birds. You're seeing an increasing amount of sort of social media publicity and conversation online talking about how conures are amazing starter birds, and I want to talk about why I don't think that's necessarily true in this video. Now, just to start with, I have a bit of a problem with the term starter bird. I think that the term starter bird is a bit misleading. There is no real thing as a starter bird. You should just go for the parrot you're most drawn to, do your research and work on it first. Just because a bird's small, like a budgie or a conure or a cockatiel, does not necessarily mean that they're a starter bird. I think it's just a misleading term that causes a lot of confusion with people and sometimes leads to problems and misunderstandings. Now, the purpose of this video is less to put you off getting a conure if you're considering one, but more to make you sure you're aware of what you're getting into if you're getting a conure, and discuss the sort of elements I feel that make conures difficult for beginner parrot owners. And remember, if you still want a conure, that's great. Just make sure you do your research and you're prepared for what you're going to get yourself into. The first point I wanted to make regarding conures and their sort of difficult natures is how reactive they are. Especially green cheeks and crimson bellies, they're very reactive to sound, sudden movement and vibrations. And this sometimes transfers to other parrots as well, and I know I've talked about this before, but I'm really sorry, it has to be said. They are reactive to these elements, and if you're inexperienced and you have your conure out and you're expecting them to be quite happy when your washing machine's running, or if you're in the middle of petting them and they suddenly whip their head around and nip you because someone honks their horn outside, that's pretty much a good reason why that'll happen. And that's something you need to be prepared for as someone who's getting into the world of living with conures. You know, if you've got them, they are reactive, you need to be prepared for that. You need to make adaptations to your lifestyle so there's no massive noises when they're out, and just being I don't know, I guess considerate to them, you know, considerate to how their nature is. Conures are also very nippy little creatures. These guys love to explore their beaks, and they're not afraid to use them when they feel a little irritated or you're antagonising them. So it is well worth keeping that in mind. You know, they're very cuddly, very cute, but those little beaks can do a lot of damage, and they're a lot worse. Yes, exactly, baby Olive. They're a lot worse than, say, a budgie or a cockatiel biting you. So keep that in mind when someone's telling you, oh, they're so cuddly, they're so adorable, they're so placid and relaxed. They're not all the time, and that beak will do you some damage if you're not aware and doing some proper training with them. A lot of people give them the kind of reputation of nippy little monsters, and I would say it's well deserved for a lot of conures, because even the most well-behaved, beautiful, cuddly conure will occasionally nip and will occasionally give you a nibble you may not have expected. Conures are also exceptionally prone to hormonal behaviour. Because they're so cuddly, because they're so adorable and they love cuddling things, we can sometimes make that worse. We can pet them inappropriately, we can do all sorts of things that exacerbate this hormonal behaviour, like giving them cosy huts because they're marketed for them, and you know, all of the starter kits for them come with cosy huts, so obviously they should have them, and it makes the hormonal behaviour worse, which leads to biting, to the screaming, all the things we don't want to see. And then, especially for a lot of people who've just got their conures, they're just like, oh my goodness, what do I do? You know, I don't know where this behaviour is coming from. I thought they were cuddly. The breeder told me that I need to, you know, restrain them and do all sorts of things, and they're perfectly happy being held, and then they get into a pickle. And that's often where we get business for our consultation business, which is good for us, but obviously we want you and your conures to be happy, so we'd much rather that you had a sort of good start with your conure in the first place. So because they are very prone to hormonal behaviours like many parrots, it's kind of good to be aware of that before you get a conure, and maybe just start off on the best foot so you don't encourage that hormonal behaviour. Because again, social media, I see so many videos of people like stroking their conures like cats, like fully restraining them, which can also be a problem because it may stop them from breathing. You can't fully restrain a conure for any length of time, or any parrot. Petting them in weird ways, you know, encouraging the hormonal behaviours, and then like sharing it, and then everyone's like excited by it because they think it's cute, because we're looking at it from a human point of view, and then yeah, it just spirals, and then eventually we get an email saying, my conures are biting, my conures always in the corner, my conures doing this and that, and it's like, oh. So yeah, if you can stop it before it starts and be aware of it as a potential problem before you even get your conure, then you're going to set yourself up for much more success. Another reason I thought this video was important to film is conures are one of the most rehomed or sort of like most popular parrots sent to a rescue at a small parrot family. Budgies are often surrendered in cockatiels because people can't be bothered with them, but conures are often surrendered purely because they can be difficult to deal with. All of our conures are rescues, all the way from Pickles, all the way through to Kipling and Louis. And that is because they can be difficult to handle and people expect them to be easy because they're marketed as starter birds when in reality they're not. So I really felt this is what basically prompted me to do this. You know, a lot of questions about conure behaviour and lots of talk about just how many are in rescues right now because they're just such great birds if you give them a chance to know what you're doing. So yeah, basically just I'd like to keep as many out of rescues as possible and keep them in prepared posts where they can have great fun lives. So when conures are being marketed as starter birds, there's no thought given to what type of conure that is. A lot of breeders, there's a lot of really responsible great breeders out there before I say this by the way, but there's a lot of inexperienced breeders who just think, yeah, it's a good idea, I can make some more money, easy peasy, and it doesn't matter whether the conure is a green cheek, a sun conure, a crimson belly, or any other type. And they just don't care. For example, crimson bellies are becoming increasingly popular as a type of conure because of their vibrant colours, their cheeky personality and just how boisterous they are. However, they're really difficult and I'm going to be doing a dedicated video on crimson bellies purely because of our experiences with one, a lot of people I'm talking to's experiences with them and everything, but no thought is given to the type of conure. So, you know, not all conures are created equally. There's individual variances as well between personalities, and there's annoying chips screaming in the background. Another good example of parrots being naughty. But you know, it's just the way it is. You know, you have to be very careful when you're picking your type of conure as well because they're very different in noise levels and behaviour. They're not all the same. Chip is actually helping me lead on to my next point perfectly, and that is conures can be very noisy. Even green cheeks, who are considered one of the quieter types of conure, can scream, can shout, can get agitated. Olive can be exceptionally noisy in the mornings. Kipling's very noisy. Sun conures can be, oh my, sun conures are another story entirely, the way they scream. They're very noisy. So if you read online, oh yeah, conures are really cuddy, they're very quiet, you can have them anywhere. It's just not true. Some conures will be quiet due to their personality and due to maybe you looking after them well and them being satisfied. Other conures may have screaming issues, all sorts of things. So it's something to be aware of. Even the happiest conure, in fact, sometimes the happiest conure will be one that is making noise because noisy conures are sometimes happy conures. So be aware of noise levels. Now, this one may be an unpopular point with some people, but I feel it's important to say, and that is conures are needy. Because conures like to cuddle, because conures have that really tight flock dynamic in the wild, they transfer it to us if they're a solo bird or they need it with another conure. It's always better to have another conure for them to exhibit that behaviour with. However, I understand there's different circumstances, so I'm not going to go into that. If you have a conure and you are basically their partner and their friend, apart from the hormonal problems, you are going to have to give them all that attention. You're going to make sure that they get all that interaction with you, all that stimulation, all that bonding. You can't just have a conure sitting in his cage alone and be like, yeah, I'm just having him out half an hour, just gonna cuddle me, go straight back in. The conure doesn't want that, it wants a lot more than that. It needs a lot more than that from you. Another reason conures are marketed as starter birds, and I'm sorry, I just don't like that expression, but whatever, got to use it for this video, is because of their size. And it's something I find very annoying with perceptions, general perceptions of parrots, that small parrots equals less effort, less space, etc. It's just not true. Small parrots are just as intelligent as larger ones. They require just as much space. They need lots of space in cage size, lots of time out. Just because they're a small bird, you can't just pack them away in a corner. And I know a lot of you who are watching this video are just like, yep, I'm not going to do that, and it's fine. I'm really glad at that, to be honest. But I know, I'm hoping that some people who may be watching it and thinking, oh, hang on, I thought because it's a small bird, it needs a small cage. No, big cage, big personality. Small bird does not equal the usual preconceptions and stereotypes. Sizing does not matter with your parrot, you know, it doesn't matter how small they are, they need lots of space and stuff to do. So again, that is another complete misdirection with the word starter bird in relation to conures. Now, I've talked a lot about their bad points and a lot about the problems of conures and the potential issues you may face, but I want to talk a little bit about their positives because these guys are popular for a reason, and that is because they're just amazing small parrots. You know, they come with bundles of personality, lots of intelligence, cute sounds. They can be cuddly if you respect their boundaries, train them and give them the opportunity to cuddle on their own terms without forcing the interactions. They can be so rewarding to have as pets, as you can tell, because we've got 5 of the little monsters. They are really, really awesome parrots, and there's so many positives to them, but you need to be aware of those negatives and you need to be prepared for them. Because if you can be prepared for them, you can put in the effort with the right diet, the right cage, lots of enrichment, lots of activity, training, bonding work, etc, etc. You can start your relationship with your conure on the perfect level and you can have an amazing thing. Just like the social media. It may not be exactly like that because every conure is an individual, but you can have your own little pickle sitting on your head, you can have your own Scampi, Annoying, Olive, over there, which I'm going to have to sort out in a second, and you can just generally have a great relationship with your parrot. All it takes is training, effort, and a bit of research and knowledge about it before you dive into the deep end. Don't believe all of the marketing, don't believe the social media. Have a little bit of research going on, look around and be well prepared, because that's how you're going to prepare for yourself, your bird, not commenting on a TikTok saying, oh my god, it's so adorable, I want that bird. They are amazing, they are worth it. Just, yeah, get ready for them, be prepared. So guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope if you're considering a conure, you found this video useful, and I hope it didn't really put you off. I'm hoping people who are watching this are prepared for all this and are really committed to having these little monsters. And also, if you have any comments or any other things you'd like people to be aware of about conures, please feel free to drop them down below. But in the meantime, from me, a very cuddly Pickles and a very excited Scampi, who's always excited because that's how he is. Take care and have a really good day.